If you're looking to get leads, start producing content.
You're watching the Hersh Condos Digital Experience. And here's your host, Mitch Parker.
Welcome to episode 5 of the Hersh Condos Digital Experience. I am your host, Mitch Parker. This episode is called #AskMitch. I have Jody with me. You guys will remember Jody from episode 4. He is in charge of all the digital content, all our media, and he's normally behind the scenes, but it's becoming more of a frequent thing where you actually get in front of the camera.
Well, right now we're doing this. Will be back-to-back episodes. Don't worry, you guys will get lots more special guests coming through the podcast. But since it's Ask Mitch, and I do handle a lot of the digital components of the business, we were fielding questions all week. We put it out there on Friday that we were going to be doing this episode today on Monday. So our first question, and we put this across all of our social platforms. So this one came in through Twitter, and somebody wanted to know this came from an agent. How do I add pre-construction to my existing business?
Great, and that's a great question, and it's something that actually comes up a lot with the agents that we deal with. A lot of times they'll either have sold maybe 1 or 2 pre-construction condos, but it's not the bread and butter. And pre-construction doesn't have to be the bread and butter, but I think it's definitely a benefit to have it as something, a product or a service that you're able to offer your existing clients. And just so you know, if you're watching the digital experience, we are actually live on Instagram right now. So if you see us playing with the cell phone here, that is because we are really live streaming this episode. It's something we're playing with now. So, but to get back to the question of how do I add pre-construction to my existing business, I think a lot of it is like a regular resale in terms of you have to figure out where you really want to focus on. You can't be focusing on all the buildings and all the developments just because there's so many out there. So I think you have to figure out where do I want to focus? So geographically, what type of building? And that has to do more with the personal brand that you're putting out there as well. And so once you figure out what it is you want to focus on, I say start going out there and getting as much information as possible. It's go to all the launches, talk to developers, talk to the sales companies. If there's marketing material that you can get a hold of, do that. Right. And just do a deep dive analysis and become an expert. One of the things that you'll learn is people who have not been doing it for a long period of time, when they get into it, it doesn't take long for them to add a very, very good number to their income in a single year.
Well, my next question that we got through our Instagram post came in through direct message, and it kind of tied. I liked it coming as a follow-up question where it's, how do I find more clients and get more leads?
And isn't that the magical question in both real estate and then other companies as well?
When it came in, I said, great question.
One of the key differences with where the real estate industry was specifically, and I think it goes well beyond the real estate industry, is the way that you're able to maximize your marketing dollars now versus what you could do 10 years ago. 10 years ago, if you were looking to promote something, you probably did flyers, or you took out an ad in a newspaper. And for anybody who's done that, it's an expensive endeavor to do. Whereas now we have all these platforms like Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and TikTok and you name it, where first of all, you can post a lot of this stuff for free. Second of all, if you did want to put some money behind it, the value of your dollar goes so much farther. So first place I would start is hit up your existing database. Send out an email telling them exactly what you're looking to do. You'll never know who's going to contact you that way. Number 2 is totally utilize social media. Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn are my 3 favorites. It's what we've discussed extensively as well. And I would go there, and I would start there by putting out content that sort of encourage people to message you back. So, you know, we're doing a big development up in Vaughan now. That's one of our newer buildings. And I've already started to see a lot of agents putting out content, you know, videos and posts and this and that. And I actually, over the weekend, it was really cool because this agent sent me a text message, and it was, "Hey, Mitch, I just wanted to let you know somebody from my Instagram ended up sending me a message looking for information on the development."
Right.
And so that's sort of like the exact thing that we want people to see. So if you're looking to get leads, I think it's reach out to your database, but then start producing content. They already probably have a lot of contacts that they are not talking to. And then with a little bit of effort on social media, you can really expand who you know.
Well, that sounds like a lot of good information. This question came from LinkedIn. Should I be using my personal name or come up with a separate name? Now, that was the question. I think in elaborating on it, you might be able to explain what that question means.
Right. So when you see marketing of pre-construction, you typically see it one of two ways. One, you see the typical real estate agent style where their face and their name is attached to it. Mm-hmm. Or what I think they're referring to here with the separate name is coming up with something like VIPinvestmentcondos.com. And that becomes the place where people go to get information. And it's a fantastic question. And it's something that I think agents are tweaking, and they're always playing with to try to figure out what the right answer is. On your Facebook, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, it should be your face and it should be about you, because I think that's what people want to see. And social media, to me anyway, it's about creating that like authentic experience where people don't just learn about the projects and the developments that you're selling, but they actually learn like, what is your life like day to day? As we all know, and if you've been an agent for long enough, you'll know that people don't really love calling real estate agents. You know, it's not something that people like enjoy doing. In order to avoid that, I think what you should do is, as much as you put your name and your face and your brand out there, there should also be a component where, let's say you decide that you want to market a specific investment, and you're going to build a landing page, and that landing page is going to have information about the specific development. As opposed to having your name and face there, running an unbranded one is going to cater to a different set of people that maybe would not have reached out if it was your face, and that they just want the information. So I think for advertisement for specific developments, unbranded. For social media day-to-day stuff, I think it's put your face out there, let people know who you are, give them an insight into your life, and it will create a nice balance of the two.
So you speak about a lot of really cool things. One of the things that you talk about is a landing page. And I'm sure it's a term that most people have heard, but aren't necessarily familiar with how it works. Could you elaborate on landing pages?
Totally. Instead of being like a full-blown website where people can jump around from page to page, all it would have would be like a title, a little bit of information about the condo, and then a place for them to be able to sign up to receive more information. Okay. So it's essentially a one-page website that's incredibly focused on one thing.
So are you saying that an agent would need to create one of these for each project they work on?
That's the best way that we've seen agents have the most success. For each development, you're going to want a landing page where it gives the potential purchaser or the potential lead information about the condo. But then at the same time, don't forget, you want to give them information about the condo, but you also want to give them a reason to actually contact you.
How does one get that page out there? What are some of the ways that you can get eyeballs on the page?
Great question. And I think, you know, one of the ways that you can do it is by running things like Google AdWords for sure, because you're going to want to drive them to that page. You can also run separate ads on Facebook and Instagram, driving them to that page. And the other thing is, you know, through your database, you can also put that page out as well.
As a link, right?
Yeah, as a link. It's always going to be as a link form.
So, you know, if I'm thinking the simplest ways, you know, posting something on your Instagram that says check out. Now, I know you can't put links right in Instagram. Well, we're learning that there are ways around this, which might be another episode.
And, you know, actually, so, you know, I think we should jump right into it. Like,
go for
now.
it. Let's do it.
really discovered this thing, and it's really, really cool this weekend. It's called Linktree, and it's linktr.ee. If you do jump into our Instagram profile today, you'll see it says Linktree/Hersh Condos. Click on it and you'll see exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's this like amazing service, and I'm not sure how I only discovered it this weekend.
Yeah.
But I can totally see us using it going forward.
It's a good one.
And I think a lot of agents should use it going forward as well for each development that they're going to promote.
Moving on, we've got a couple more questions to cover.
Sounds good.
This one actually came from an investor. What are the important things to consider when purchasing a pre-construction condo?
It's a fantastic question. And if you're watching this as an investor, but also I think you'll get a lot of benefit if you're an agent as well. The reality is there's not a ton of difference between selling new construction and selling resale. You know, things like the location are still going to be important. What type of product that you're buying is important. The amenities in the building, all of that stuff that you typically look into, access to transit, things like that are all really, really important. But when you jump onto the pre-construction side, I think one of the biggest differences is that you can't actually walk into the condo and see and feel and touch it. So it becomes really important to look into the reputation of the developer, knowing that if I walk into one of their previously built and finished buildings, the one that I'm going to purchase and get at the end of the day is going to be similar to that type of building. So I think that becomes the major difference between the pre-construction and the resale side.
The next question comes from another one of our agents. What are the major differences between pre-construction and resale?
The major differences that you're going to see are, you can actually assign an agreement of purchase and sale for a new development in a lot of scenarios. And all of these terms that we're going to mention now, I think we can do an episode on each one of them. So we're not going to go deep into each one, but the differences are the assignment option, which is essentially selling before the unit is built and registered. There's the differences in development fees for closing costs, which again is going to be a total other episode in itself. And there's a bit of differences with HST. So if you're purchasing for your own end use, HST is typically included in a new construction condo.
Right.
Whereas if you're an investor, there's a portion of the HST which you'll have to pay on closing and then file for the government and get that back.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think we might have time for one more question.
Okay.
This one doesn't really have to do with pre-construction, but it came in, and it was in response to you had put out a video on Instagram, and I love the question because I wonder it myself. So this has to do with your hair, Mitch.
Can only imagine. Wow.
And somebody wanted to ask, how does your hair always look so perfect? It's true. Somebody wrote that.
Someone really wrote that.
Yeah.
Where did that one come from?
Right. It was a response to the video you put out promoting Ask Mitch.
Yeah.
Somebody wrote, how does your hair always look so perfect? So I would like to know the answer.
That's amazing. And I would love to know who is that. The nice person that
these are
wrote
anonymous.
that.
I've kept this all anonymous.
Anonymous. You know what? It's not that complicated of a process. I use, I don't even know what it is. It's like a paste and then a little bit of hairspray.
Are you not plugging the brand?
And that's it. No, you know what? I don't plug the brand because I go back and forth between kind of like whatever's in the medicine cabinet at the time.
Fair enough.
I used to use this like Crew product, which was the brand.
Okay.
And then I ran out of it one day and I semi-panicked, but then I ended up like finding this thing that I got at an event and it worked. And I was like, okay, I guess the brand and the actual product doesn't really matter that much. But it's just like a paste and then some hairspray and a good amount of hairspray.
Do you accredit this at all to family genes?
Totally. My dad has like a good set of hair on him.
Well, for those of you who know Hersh, my father, it looks like I am starting to get the hair genes from him. But I think we'll wrap it up on that lighthearted note.
This has been episode 5, Ask Mitch, where we answered your questions. And we are going to stay on and answer your live questions for a few more minutes. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. Have an amazing day.
Thanks for watching the Hersh Condos Digital Experience. Stay tuned for more exciting content, subscribe to our channel, and make sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms.